Hello, my name is Luke. I'm a software engineer and have been in software since 2016. And this is the ideal plan in my mind for getting into software. It comes from a LinkedIn post I did yesterday, and as I was writing it out, I really liked it. And once I finished, I was like, man, that's great. And so I'm making a video out of it. So you're going to get to baseline, so I'll outline the whole thing, real quick, and then I'll talk about it a little more. You're going to get to baseline as the first thing. Baseline is 500 hours of training and 3 to 6 small projects. That's the first goal. Then the second goal is build a real world large project that you're going to attempt to monetize. And so that's the whole thing, right? The training outline. And then the other piece that fits in there is networking. So let me talk about that for a second. You're going to have a target start date. So this is the date that you would like to start your first software job. You back off of that 1 to 3 months, and that's when you're going to start networking. And then I've got some advice on how much time to allocate to networking in there. So going back to the beginning, to talk a little bit more in depth about that process that I just outlined. There are 2 routes that I suggest, and I think there are 3 that exist, and these are the 2 that I think you should choose from. Self-taught, and I think that's the best one, or boot camp. So self-taught, I like it because it's free and it's doable. There's a lot of free resources out there to learn software, and it's doable. The nice things about a boot camp is it's structured, very outlined. You have a finish date. You have people who can help you. You have resources to go get help, and accountability. So those things are nice about a boot camp. So if you need that, any of those 3 things, then boot camp is for you. But if you can provide your own structure, your own discipline, if you are okay not knowing where your help is going to come from, because I think that if you go the self-taught route, I think you can still get help, and that just comes from the community. So Discord, Slack, channels, Stack Overflow, reaching out to people that you might already know, reaching out to people on LinkedIn. You can find help, but if you're okay not knowing where it comes from, then maybe the self-taught route is for you. So just real quick, talking about CS degree boot camp costs. So a CS degree, I don't know what it costs, but 4 years and whatever it costs, I think is probably too much of an investment. It's unnecessary. And I'm not hating on CS degrees. They're great. They probably make you a better developer than I am, because I didn't get a CS degree. So I'm not hating on it. I just think that, when you're looking at the 3 options, you're too much invested, more than you need to get into software. Boot camp. So what I think I've seen in 2022, I think 7,500 I've seen is kind of like the lower end, and then I think it goes up. My impression is it goes up to 20,000, and I think that would be overpaying if you were paying 20,000. So just there's my 2 cents on how much it costs. The other thing, and this is not what the video is about, but I'll just touch on it. I think if you're in a boot camp, the people in the boot camp have expectations of what you're capable of, and those could be anywhere. But the point is, other people have expectations that you're exposed to. When you're self-taught, the only expectations are your own. And I think that is a truth in life that we are, as humans, likely to only go to or slightly beyond other people's expectations of us. That's where we allow ourselves to perform to. So when you're self-taught, I think potentially your expectations of yourself help you get to a level that maybe otherwise you couldn't have. So that's just a little plug for self-taught that doesn't get bandied around a lot. And it's just my opinion. Okay, so baseline, those 3 to 6 projects that you're going to do, small projects. So if you're a front end focused engineer like myself, those small projects look like a to-do app, a calculator, a random quote generator, API, a weather machine app. You know, you type in, the user types in their location, and you send an API call and fetch the weather for that area and display it to the user. So weather app, a recipe maker, those kinds of things are what I think of as small front end projects, and like the beginner ones. So you do 3 to 6 of those, right? So that's helping you get to your baseline plus the 500 hours of training. And if you're a back end focused engineer, you know, that might be like an API that does CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete in a database. It might interact with third-party APIs, might do some fancy data manipulation. I don't really know, like data manipulation is something I have to do a lot in my work, but I don't exactly know what you would be doing for that. But there's the idea. And then somebody else, so this video came out of a LinkedIn post, somebody put on that post a back-end project idea of like a chat app. So that's a good one. But you know, some Google searching, talking to somebody who's already a back-end focused engineer would be, you know, ways to find back-end project ideas. And then there's mobile, you know, which looks different, and I don't know. But again, Google searching and talking to people who are in those fields doing that stuff would be good. So that, I think I've talked enough about baseline, the larger project, right? So you've hit baseline, you start your larger project. What is that? The larger project is something that you're going to monetize or try to, and it's something that's going to actually solve a need in the marketplace. So if you're a career switcher, for instance, you have experience in a different field, and you probably know of some friction points, you know, stressors you had in that industry that you can relieve with software to some degree. And so you're going to write some software that's going to have real world application that real people are going to want to use, and then you're going to try to make money on it. Monetization plans, a couple I can think of, ads, which I think is, you know, my least preferred for me. I don't like ads, and I don't like the idea of making money on ads, but that's one option. Another is like a subscription-based model. You know, you could have a freemium tiered subscription model where some users are free, and then if they want certain features, then they have to pay for a subscription. It could be a monthly subscription, annual subscription, one-time fee. Or you know, this is the loosest and least likely to monetize, but your plan for monetization could be, I'm going to build this app, get a ton of users, and then eventually sell it to somebody, and that, you know, that's a monetization plan. So that it qualifies. So have I talked enough about no, okay. So another thing about the large project is you're going to time box it to 1 to 3 months. So I've done 2 larger projects that only me working on them, that I tried to monetize. One I spent 1.5 years, one I spent 3 months, and 3 months is much better. So you want to get it out to market quickly with the minimum features that are required for your product to do what it's supposed to do, right? So, you know, when you are trying to come up with a project idea, that part's hard. But then once you get your project idea, you know, feature ideas start coming pretty quick because you're thinking about it a lot. You know, for me, it was, you know, almost all I thought about for the whole time I was working on them. I was very excited, you know, very life-giving experience. But you can't do all those features. You need to identify what is MVP and then build that and ship it. Once you ship it, if you haven't got a job and you are going to still work on it, you know, you can interview users if you were able to get users, or target users. So if you can't get users, you find some people who fit the ideal target user profile, and you say, hey, can I interview you? And then you get their feedback, and then you use that information to guide your decision making on which features to do next, or maybe to pivot the product entirely. I don't know. So, just talking about the experience of building something like that, when I did it, it was easier to build the project than to get users. Marketing and self-promotion are not things that I'm good at, and it was difficult. And I was not successful. I abandoned both of them, but I got a lot out of the experience. So, there were challenges in building the project, obviously, and there were more challenges in hosting it, because hosting like a front-end guy, hosting a front-end project only is a certain skill level, and then hosting a front-end and a back-end is another skill level, and a database as well. That was a learning experience, and made me stretch and grow and learn new things, and it was great. But then the harder part, as I've said, was marketing it, getting people interested in it, explaining it. It's hard, and it'll be good. It'll be a good experience. But just to prepare you for it, that's what it was like. The goal of this larger project is, if we're being honest with ourselves, not actually to make money. We're gonna try to monetize it, but what we are hoping to get out of it is not necessarily a successful monetization of the product. It being something we're trying to monetize helps focus the project, give it purpose. That's the real goal of trying to monetize it. It really makes you think about, okay, what am I going to do? And, helps you stay excited about it, because it's not just something that you're building for experience, although that's true. You have a purpose with it, and that changes the whole experience. So if you do wind up monetizing it, that's awesome. And maybe it turns into like supplemental income, or, crazy great. Maybe you don't even need a job because it monetizes so well. And that would be the ideal, right? So done talking about the larger project, talking about networking. So you pick that target start date, right? This is when I want to start my first dev job. And then you back up 1 to 3 months, and that's when you start networking. If you're still working on baseline at that time, getting to baseline, this is when I need to start networking, you're going to allocate 25% of your time towards networking. Once you've met baseline, you move to 50%. So I'm working 50% of my time on the larger project and 50% of my time on networking. If you finish your larger project and you still don't have a job, then you bump it up to 75 to 100% of your time networking. And if it's not 100% of your time towards networking, then that remainder, whatever it is, 25 to 1%, you either keep on working on your larger project to add more features, or just training, whatever you want that to look like. Maybe leak code. I've never done any leak code, but I did free code camp algorithms, which are very similar, I understand. So maybe some stuff like that, because coding interviews are a thing. I think I talked about all the stuff I want to talk about. Networking. So maybe not. Networking is, not asking people for things. It's about building relationships, building, your network. And those relationships, the deeper they are, the more substance they have, the better. But you need to make enough of them that some of those people who are in your corner rooting for you have positions that you are qualified for. And they need to know that you're looking for a role, and they need to know, kind of what your skill set is, and, have some idea of your skill level. So that requires you to have had a conversation with them, right? So I have a course on marketing yourself, networking, that's free, it's 36 minutes long, and you can find that on my LinkedIn profile, or I'll put it in the description of this video. But so, just talking about networking a little bit, you're going to post daily on LinkedIn, and you're going to have 5 target accounts starting out that you interact with daily. and those target accounts are people in software who are posting daily and every day. You go to their post and you add a comment that adds value. So those are the two things you're going to be doing on LinkedIn every day, Monday through Friday, anyway. And that will help grow your network. And that's growing your loose network, right? So those are people who are just connections because they saw some of your content and they wanted to connect. The connections that actually pay dividends are the ones that you've had conversations with. So I think if you're doing those two things, posting and interacting, consistently, you're probably going to have conversations that pop up naturally. Or maybe you need to reach out to some people, I don't know. But, those conversations, you're not asking for anything. You're just, maybe asking questions, probably asking questions. But you're just having a conversation that hopefully both of you are enjoying, and hopefully both of you are getting something out of it and getting to know each other. The other way you can be networking is through in-person tech meetups, hackathons, or if that's not an option for your area, online. Andrew Clarkson is a friend of mine. I met him on LinkedIn, and he has an online virtual coffee chat that he does. I think it's once a week. And he has a speaker, and it's question and answer format, and people who are trying to get into software go to this coffee meetup and, meet other people who are trying to get into software. And so that sort of thing, you can join one that exists, or if you're, kind of more social, maybe you start your own. And then also in your area, if there are no meetups, you could also organize some meetups, which I've seen people do successfully. So that's a little bit on networking. And so that's the whole plan, I think. I think I've talked about everything I wanted to. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it was helpful. Again, this is just my opinion. Take it or leave it. We all have our own journey that we take to get to software, and if it works for you, that great, more power to you. Cold applying is another thing I didn't talk about. Damn, I was wrapping up and I forgot something. Cold applying is, the other approach outside of networking, and yields returns I've seen from people I've talked to of about 1 to 5%, right? So if you fill out 100 cold applications online, then you might hear back about 1 to 5 of them, right? And when I say cold application, I mean you applied online and you didn't know anyone at the company. So, do that if you want to. Maybe do a little bit of it, but then focus more on networking. I think that cold applying is just a discouraging, and it takes a lot out of you to put all that effort in for so little back. And then rejections come anyway, but you get more of them when you're cold applying. So just consider networking as an option. There's the whole thing. I'm done now.